online at automaticchefcanteen.com.
Our good friend Brad Boozer, Boozer's Jewelers here at 365 Sports. Now, Brad, people who watch and listen to our show know I'm a double-time customer for you, engagement ring and wedding band, and you guys do that great, but that's not all you do at Boozer's Jewelers.
Absolutely, and I always like to say, it's a new year. It's a great way to start the year out. Go through your old jewelry. Go through your wife's jewelry box. Go through anything you're maybe not wearing, something that's broken, something that you're not using. We do a massive amount of custom work. We can take your old jewelry, old diamonds, old watches, and we can convert it into something special for you and make a one-of-a-kind piece of jewelry. And if that's not something you're interested in, a great thing is we can turn that into cash. So we buy gold, we buy diamonds, we'll buy Rolex watches, any kind of heirloom jewelry, anything that's maybe passed down to you.
Boozer's Jewelers, where do they find you, Brad?
We're at 1025 North Valley Mills Drive, right on the corner of Lake Air Drive and Valley Mills with the big clock on the corner.
Bambi SQ, what is the number one reason or two or three reasons, Bambi, that people should contact House of Travel?
As a travel agency local here in Waco, we can take care of all your bookings, your payments, answer your questions, help you when there are issues or problems, things that may come up that you don't know what to do or how to fix them. People don't realize we don't charge a fee for what we do. It doesn't cost you extra to use a travel agent. We're just here. We get paid by the tour companies and the cruise lines to represent them. But you have an expert on your side that's here and local, and you have a name and a face to put together to help you with anything that you may need. Give us a call. We can price things for you. We can help you answer questions. We can make it simple, easy, and one stop.
Your knowledge of all the years you've done this and then spit it back to them or give them options?
It helps us to kind of know a date range, a budget, what your goals are and what you want to see and do on your vacation. And then that helps us to know what to look for, and we can narrow down and help you make the best choices for your vacation so you get the best value. You get exactly what you were hoping for, and making sure that it's taken care of with a carefree, easy, simple for you type vacation. I've been doing this for over 40 years. Every day I learn something new. I experience new situations and things that I can help take care of for people, whether it's just making sure you get the best deals and find the best vacations, or whether it's to solve that problem, like you've got a flight that's being canceled and you don't know what to do. There's weather coming up, or should I cancel my trip next week because of the hurricane? Those are things that we take care of and you don't have to worry about. You've got somebody that you can rely on that you know is an expert, knows what we're doing, have been doing this for a long time, so that you're not questioning, okay, does the person on the other end of the phone really understand what I'm asking or know how to find those deals? You've got an expert, and we are here to take care of that.
For more information, go to houseoftravelwaco.com.
This is 365 Sports.
The Sikkim 365 app is brought to you by Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
365 Sports on this Friday evening. Heading into the weekend, and it's August 24th when Florida State, Georgia Tech kick off in Dublin. One of our sponsors, Allen Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, Ted Teague, the owner, CEO, he is on vacation in Dublin. I sent him a text. I said, you could stay there another 3 weeks and get to watch college football, because that's where they will kick it off, as they started having an annual game in Dublin. And so we're not far away. Looking forward to it. Just bodies at practice and much more, but look forward to the games when they start. We'll hear from Bill Riley, voice of Utah Athletics, here momentarily on the opening official day of Utah joining the Big 12 Conference. Got him? Okay, we'll try to call him back on that then. So, Colorado, offensive line, they've added that through the transfer portal. Was there any doubt it was the offensive line, or was it the defense that couldn't stop anybody last year?
It was both. I mean, they were both equally bad.
No, that's why I brought them up.
I mean, that an or question on that is not fair. It is yes. That's the answer, because it was almost like, hey, we've got this great quarterback and some really cool skill players, and the offensive line is, let's see if we can kill them. And then the defensive line is like, you're trying to kill our best players. You know what we're going to do? We're not going to tackle people. So, that was how bad it was when it came to it. And look, if Colorado got into a shootout where it was close and they could trade scores, that's where they were dangerous. But down the stretch of the season, they went 4-8 for a reason, because if you can't keep your quarterback up off the dirt, and then in turn, you're a turnstile to the opposing offense, well, I mean, you're going to be 4-8.
Yeah, that's if they could run the ball well, that protects Scheer along with the fact of what he can do. They ran the ball pretty well, but I don't know. I don't know what to expect from them. I really don't. That thing could go belly up right off the top with North Dakota State, who might give them a little bit. I just think they have too much firepower, even if North Dakota State's a pretty good football team. So that of the 4 schools, we know where Utah is. We think we know where Colorado might be. And then Utah is, Arizona's kind of a little bit of a question mark because of some turnover and the coaching change. And then, of course, Arizona State's trying to get themselves in a pretty good position. Who's the better quarterback, Rising, Scheer, or Fafita?
I don't know. I mean, probably Scheer overall, but I don't know. I feel like that's a fair question to ask, but I feel like that's one, I'm not giving you a great answer because I haven't sat and compared the 3 of them and broken them down and done a scouting report on them. So I would take either option you gave me of the 3 of them and be fine, and I'd win football games. Yep. But I think as far as pro potential, I think right this very moment it's Scheer, but Noah Fafita is right there, and I don't know what Cam Rising's pro prospects are, especially for a guy who's played this many years in college, but they're also not all the same type of player. There's some differences stylistically. So, I think the most exciting are certainly Scheer and Fafita, but Cam Rising will win you a lot of football games. So, I'm not a talent scout. I don't know how to break them down, individually and compare them the way that you're probably looking for.
No, I wasn't. I was just kind of asking that question. We now are joined by the voice of Utah Athletics, Bill Riley. Joins us on 365 Sports. Bill, I know everything's been official, but then there's always the official day today with Utah and the Big 12, along with Colorado, the 2 Arizona schools. I know Utah loved the Pac-12, fans, etc., and had success there. What does today actually mean, you think, at all, or is it just another day?
No, it's not another day at all. There's a lot of excitement. I will campus up here. There's a ton of excitement around the athletic department and around campus about the new adventure. You're right. I mean, they do love their time in the Pac-12 conference, but that time's come and gone. And they've known now for a year they were going to be members of the Big 12 conference, and they've been preparing for it. So there's a lot of excitement today around Utah athletics and here in Salt Lake City.
What would you say to there was initially maybe a ho-hum to some of the fans. Was it just disappointment that a conference that they had fought their way to start dominating was ending, and now you have the sense of new beginnings as opposed to the sadness that the conference that they were 2-time defending champions was over?
Yeah, that sadness passed. Again, we've had a year roundup for this, and really when the end of the season's ended, football season ended at the Vegas Bowl, basketball, baseball, really by the end of spring, it was sad because they had a good 13-year run and it had great success in a lot of sports. But this has been a day and this has been a time that a lot of people on this campus have been looking forward to. And, now the fall sports are already on campus practicing football and, volleyball and soccer. Those sports start getting up and they're now members of the Big 12 conference. So there's a great deal of excitement around here. And there's an excitement among the fan base too, because it's new. After being in the Mountain West Conference and moving to the Pac-12 for 13 years and getting to experience new opponents and new campuses, now they get to do the same thing with a League of 16. And the other bit of excitement, too, is, your longtime rival is now a conference rival again, and that's BYU.
Yeah, that part of it is certainly one of the more talked about aspects is having the Holy War under the Big 12 umbrella now. I mean, for folks who haven't experienced that, can you even begin to describe and just what's that going to be like, do you think, to have that under a conference umbrella?
I think it's going to be like it was for so many years, guys, and that's going to bring back a lot of excitement. Now, the programs, especially on the football side, are in completely different places right now. But that's not going to tamp down the excitement of the fan bases. And you guys know in rivalry games, there's a lot of years where one school could be really, really good and one school could be down. But on that given Saturday or whatever night of the week it might happen to be, they can summon something. So The Big 12 is going to get a look at what the Holy War is up close and in person, and I think you guys are going to be pretty impressed by the fervor of the two fan bases. Let me put it that way.
Well, we felt it even from here, and we also felt it even at Big 12 Media Days in Las Vegas because we had Coach Whittingham and also Kalani Sitake, among others, on the show. So there's no question it's kind of nice. It's great that they're now a part of the Big 12 when they play each other. The football team, Cam Rising, obviously, after a year or two, that he just hasn't been able to get healthy. Your thoughts about what he's looked like, even though it's early, and what are the expectations for him?
Well, the expectations are high. It was really only 1 year. Let's be fair, guys. It was last year. He played just about the entire 22 season and led them to the Rose Bowl, and the 21 season and led them to the Rose Bowl too. So it was last year. And again, it was just had we known at the beginning of the year, I just think there was that uncertainty of not knowing whether he was going to play or not for part of the year. But he's back, and Brant Keithy's back too. And there's also a familiar name for Baylor fan. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. But Cam in practice, and again, spring ball is spring ball. They put the pads on next week, but he looks and talks like the Cam Rising that led Utah to back-to-back conference championships. So far, so good. Again, 4 days in, but there's a lot of excitement. And when you guys know, when you're healthy at quarterback, when you've got an experienced, high-level, talented quarterback, that always gives you reason for optimism.
Would that connection that you were about to talk about be Caleb Lohner?
It would indeed. The one-time Utah basketball commit, the one-time BYU Cougar, the Baylor Bear is now a tight end in the Utah offense, and he drew some rave reviews, at least in the first couple of days of practice, from his quarterback, Cam Rising. They're raving at Caleb's athletic ability. Now, there's a guy named Keithy and a guy named Landon King and a guy named Carson Ryan from Utah and UCLA, those guys that are a little bit more experienced. But I can just tell you the quarterback has been very impressed by the power forward turn tight end for Utah.
Not trying to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but Kyle Whittingham did make a very interesting move, a move that he had made before with Morgan Scalley promoting him to the head coach in waiting. Obviously, had done that years ago. Happened, he's now done that now a second time, and Morgan Scalley will be the guy. Just how has that been received by the Utah fan base? Is this just, as Whittingham's been there a long time, he's getting up there in age, this is a move to be expected? Just how has that sort of been viewed?
Well, to be fair, it wasn't Kyle Whittingham who made that move. That was athletics. The athletic director, Mark Harlan, made that move because he's the one who is in charge of all that. It's been well received. Morgan Scalley is the most Utah guy there is. His father played football at Utah. He grew up going to every Utah football game. He was an All-American safety and captain at the University of Utah. Led them to an undefeated Fiesta Bowl BCS busting season, and has spent his entire career at Utah. There's probably nobody you could handpick that would be better set, and he's coached under Kyle and been defensive coordinator, leading some pretty good defenses now for about 10 years. So he's well positioned. He's also been the lead recruiter in the state of Texas. Utah has 17 Texas kids on their roster, and Morgan's lead territory is Texas. So he's very well equipped, and from a culture, from a system standpoint, there will be whenever that day comes. Kyle's under contract through 2027. So whether it's this year, next year, the year after, Utah's pretty well set on the transition in head coach. And yeah, fans love him. Morgan's a Utah guy through and through.
Give us an idea, and we've seen a little bit of it. You can't always figure things out with social media, and obviously Utah played Baylor last year, and it was a game that Utah they never stopped who they were, no matter the score, and they just kept chipping away, and then they got the big pop at the end. How do you describe a Utah Utes football fan?
Are you talking about a fan or the program?
The fan. We know kind of the program's like an angry ball of razor blades, the way they play, the way we mentioned that. But Coach Whittingham got a kick out of that when I had somebody share that with me, and I shared it with him. But how would you describe Utah Utes football fans?
They are rabid. This has been a football. This was a basketball school. It still has got a great basketball lineage and tradition. 15th or 16th winningest program in the history of college basketball. But when Urban Meyer took over for those 2 years and then Kyle Whittingham built on it, this has become a football program. These fans here are rabid. Baylor fans that come for the second week of the season are going to see a full stadium and a rabid fan base. Welcoming fans, yes, but once you get in that stadium, it becomes a real hornet's nest. So I think that Big 12 fans, I think the program's been well known. The fans will travel too. You guys saw that last year. There were a lot of Utah fans that made the trip to Waco and were there at the stadium on that hot, humid Saturday, late morning, early afternoon game along the river there. But this is a really hardcore college football fan base here in Salt Lake City.
Bill Riley, voice of Utah Athletics, with us on 365 Sports.
What do you think that well, I guess Baylor's technically the first Big 12 game, even though it's not. What do you think the atmosphere will be like for that in particular of the, this is a new team that we're going to be playing?
I think that it's going to be a little bit different looking team this year than the one I think the intensity in what you saw a year ago will be the same. I think because so many guys return and so many guys got experience a year ago, you're going to see a little bit different. You're going to see a little bit different team than the one you saw last year, and namely because they were unsettled at quarterback. Remember last year they played Bryson Barnes and they played Nate Johnson, and ultimately Nate led them to that game-winning touchdown. It's just a different team than when you've got that quarterback. You guys remember when Charlie Brewer was running that offense a few years ago, it was just a different team for Baylor than when you had a different guy in there. The defense is going to have a few new faces, but they've got some guys back who were injured last year too. You saw Utah before a lot of the injuries began to decimate them. But again, they didn't have Keefe and they didn't have Rising in that game. They've also added a ton of weaponry in the wide receiver room. Transfer from USC, Dorian Singer. Transfer from Syracuse, Damian Alford. Transfer from Florida State, Micah Pittman, who got injured in the Baylor game early and never played the rest of the year. So this is not really going to be the same team or same feel that you guys saw a year ago when the boys came to Baylor, when the boys came down to Baylor.
Bill, one thing from me, and we appreciate your time. Stevenson Sylvester is going to join us at 5:15. He's on that Big 12 Advisory Council that Brett Yormark has formed. Give us a story about Stevenson Sylvester that we don't know.
Well, he is my sideline reporter, so that part of it is great.
All right.
He's got his own line of clothing called Utah Man Am I, with his own logo on there of him intercepting a pass against Alabama and making a gesture, making kind of a gesture that he made after making the big play. He made some sacks too. So he's got that going for him. He played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's a Las Vegas guy growing up, so you've got that part of it too. But yeah, ask him about his logo and his clothing line.
That's awesome. That good. That's exciting. Jordy Lindley shared that with me, and he did respond. We're going to get him on in about 20 minutes or so. Bill, thanks for your time. I know that there's been so much that's been said, so much that's been done about Utah and the Big 12. Looking forward to the Utes being a part of it. And thanks for your time on this official day that they're a part of the Big 12.
Are you guys going to be making the trip to Salt Lake City?
I will not. We make 2 or 3 road trips, but that doesn't seem to be one that we're going to make this year.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do from my end, because I've got I don't have high school football like these two guys do.
Yeah,
so.
we got high school football
gotcha.
Friday.
Yeah,
Paul went to Orlando last year.
Yeah,
going to go to Lubbock, I know, is one of the trips this year, and we're looking at a couple other road trips too. So, but would love to. I would like one day to be able to go on a Friday night to wherever they're on the road to enjoy that and then come up and do a game too.
I just want to find a way also to go to the Holy War at both places, just because I like being in stadiums that make your teeth rattle.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
It's so loud.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
You too. Bill Riley, voice of the Utah Utes, with us on 365 Sports. I did not know when Jordy reached out to me about getting Stevenson on that He was this Colorado sideline reporter, but also a former Pittsburgh Steeler, so that'll be fun to have him on here in just about 15 or 20 minutes. When we come back, 365 Sports, Garrett Ross runs the mothership. Jack McKenzie runs the mothership of the mothership. And then, of course, Emery Winter is already working on 365 Sports tonight every weeknight at 10:30 on the CW. Where are we now with subscriptions? I had somebody ask me that
We're
today.
over
That's
56.
one of our sponsors, okay?
We're over 56. I think
56
we're 56.6, so we'll be at 57 likely next week.
That sounds good to me. Good. The growth continues every single day. We appreciate those of you in the chat room. Thank you for your time today. Please hit the like and subscribe button, but we have an hour to go. And this is 365 Sports.
Richard Carr, Buick GMC Cadillac, they are the people that you can count on for all of your automotive needs, and they have been for over 2 decades here in Central Texas. The people that you can count on for all of your automotive needs. And right now, that means, what are you looking to do? You're looking to get into a brand new vehicle, they can take care of that for you. You're looking to get into a pre-owned vehicle, they can take care of that for you. You're looking to get your car worked on, they can take care of that for you as well. Right now, though specifically, they are celebrating American quality and American value during the red, white, and blue sale at Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac. And they've got professional-grade power mixed with first-class luxury interiors and a multi-pro tailgate, all combined into the GMC Sierra, a.k.a. the best truck on the road. And Richard Carr is loaded with GMC Sierra and trucks on the lot. Right now, you can save $9,000 on all 2024 GMC Sierra SLT trucks in stock when you have a 2010 or newer trade-in. So nearly $10,000 off if you trade in a 2010 or newer vehicle. You can get into that GMC Sierra with big discounts, and you can find Sierra trucks, period, under $40,000 right now on the lot, but find all of their savings on all of their various options over on the red, white, and blue tags, which you can spot all over the cars on the lot right now. So the red, white, and blue savings event going on. You can take advantage of those great deals, and that also includes the pre-owned cars and trucks. Over 100 of them are on the lot right now next to those brand new Sierras, all special price during the red, white, and blue tag sale. And with a dozen lenders to choose from, they get credit approved when others can't. 100% credit approval is always the goal. So for 25 years in Central Texas, Richard Carr has built a reputation as the people you can count on for your automotive needs. Check out the red, white, and blue tag sale right now. Log on to richardcarr.com today. Call now or go see them now off Highway 6 at the Imperial exit.
Samantha Duvall, TexasBeefHouse.com. Their online auctions through Bid on Beef is just unbelievable. So coming up on August the 7th and 8th, another live auction, TexasBeefHouse.com. You can go there. And also, Bid on Beef pops up. There's a catalog with all of the product available for what you can bid on to buy at what you want to buy. And Samantha, what will be featured this month?
So for the August 7th and 8th sale, we are going to have top sirloin, short rib, tri-tip brisket, and hamburger products. And also something that we are trying new is it is called a Thor's Hammer, and that is your bone-in shank. So we're excited for that one to be something new to offer in this August 7th auction.
And don't forget the code number 365 Sports, 10% off any order over $100. And TexasBeefHouse.com also ships free to any of the contiguous 48 states. It's August the 7th and 8th. Go to TexasBeefHouse.com or Bid on Beef for more information.
It was broad daylight. I stepped into a gas station for 5 minutes to grab a snack, and just like that, my car was broken into. They made out like a bandit. My laptop, my phone, everything. I called my agent to see what could be done, and he restored my faith in humanity. My claim was processed so quickly, and I was able to recover my losses.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
There are 26 letters in the alphabet, over 600,000 words in the dictionary, and just 3 of them said together can change everything. Let's order pizza. Those 3 words lead to dough made from scratch and 3 fresh signature cheeses that blanket golden crust in a heavenly melt on Marco's Pizza that'll blow your mind. So visit Marcos.com to order and stop by Marco's Pizza in Belmead, China Spring, Woodway, and in Robinson. Marco's. Pizza lovers get it.
Established
Established in 2007 and independently owned, Alliance Bank Central Texas is committed to helping families and businesses meet their financial goals. From their tellers to their board of directors, they know the importance of superior service and competitive products. Customers have confidence knowing that their financial needs are in good hands. It's your bank, Alliance Bank Central Texas, with 2 Waco locations, 4721 Bosque Boulevard and 191 Archway Drive on Highway 84, and at AllianceBankTexas.com. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
This is 365 Sports. Text us at 254-339-1122. The text line is sponsored by Riverbend's Liquor and Wine, with the most extensive variety of craft beer in Waco. A hidden gem on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street.
This 5 o'clock hour, we will be joined here in the next segment by Stevenson Sylvester. As Bill Riley said, a former Utah linebacker, played in the NFL, and is the sideline reporter for Utah football. He'll join us at 6:15 on the show, Paul's Top 5 Around the Corner.
We're on until 6:15 today?
Yes, because you're on vacation next week.
I'm absolutely not on 6:15 today.
Yes, you are.
No,
you want to go?
You can tune in at 6:15. I will not be here. I guarantee you that much.
We leave every once in a while. We've had shows that have trickled
Y'all
in.
enjoy that. That'll be a great interview. I'll listen to it after the fact.
I left an hour early last week, so
Yeah,
I mean,
you damn sure did. Yeah, I mean, yeah. What time did you get home last night from the airport?
Oh, Jesus. I got home at midnight, and I left my house at 7:15. So, you want to get to the airport. It's an hour and a half. So if her flight's going to land in the 9 o'clock hour, I'd like to be there right about 9. Give myself some time because 35 it was work convoy day on 35. And then on the way home, zipping through, really excited, like, hey, you're going to get there. Got to just about the end of 130, the toll road, and they just shut it down. I was stuck between exits for 40 minutes.
Isn't that the point of a toll road, is that they don't have any stoppages? But
well, I don't know. There must have been some obstruction. It was closed off for about 5 miles, and I had to wait for everybody in front of me to bail out at that next exit. When I finally got there, we had to loop around through God knows where, and then finally got out, but it was nuts.
All right, Craig, you got something?
Yeah, so it was just perusing Twitter a second ago, and you might remember Dave Aranda's viral comments from Media Day that came from our conversation with him and why they had been recruiting at a much higher rate, landing commits and getting big-time commits than they had in quite a while. And his response to me that went viral was, we're paying players. And that was something that got a lot of play and had like Lane Kiffin quote tweeting it and laughing at just just being brutally honest about where we are. And you've seen it pay off. They've had like 10 more guys commit since he's made those comments, including several 4-star players. Well, they're not backing away from that. They are very clearly leaning into that. As you can see, a couple of Baylor assistants there.
That's Keenan Hall and Matthew Pallage.
Yeah, Keenan Hall and Matt Pallage. Keenan Hall, big part of the recruiting success. Matt Pallage as well. I saw this come across, and I had to double-take because I was like, is this real? And sure enough, there's a link to the NIL store where you can buy these shirts right now, and that goes to their NIL collective, or I guess, however it works, it gets back to paying players. And so there you go. There's Baylor leaning full on into the Dave Aranda quote, and that was just not something I expected to see, but hey, man, go out and buy those shirts if you're a Baylor fan, I guess.
Not to nitpick here. I don't want to be that guy, but he did say it on this show.
Yeah, we didn't get credit. We should
I think, listen, I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
At 365 Sports.
We are available for negotiations on this. We're available for negotiations.
Yeah, that was still when Craig asked him the question about the recruiting heater, and that the way he responded was just as dry and as matter of fact.
I can go back to many times when we were partnered with their media partner, where we had to change commercials because we didn't have, right. I'm just saying, he said it on our show. Yeah. I want cash. That's what I want. I think we all need cash.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get back to what is this? Is this too much?
Nope. Lean in.
Yeah. Why? I mean,
absolutely.
What are you scared of?
It's just a question.
It's
just a question. Like, is this too much? I guarantee you there will be people that look at this and they're going to love it. And there's going to be some that are going to go be offended by this.
You always worry about the folks getting offended. You do though. Who cares? I get it. There's going to probably be some people that push back, but my first thought is this is fun and it's hilarious. It's not who's going to be upset by this? Who gives a crap?
And this is anti what they've been for a very long time.
This is when I was told by a coach when I was leaving that event a couple of days ago. It said we're not being bullied anymore. We're not going to allow people to bully. So they're going to have some swagger with this, and that's exactly what they're doing.
And look, this is through multiple sports and multiple things. I would say the biggest knock on Baylor in their public image when it comes to day-to-day things, and not anything that was catastrophic. I'm not getting into that, but they've got to stick up their ass about a lot of things, and they take themselves way too seriously, which is not. They're not the only ones who do that, but I do think it's something that they've always kind of had. They really take themselves far too seriously, and if you've got the coaching staff now, not being bullied, not taking themselves too seriously, having a chuckle, that to me is funny. That's good. That shows that you're a fun place, and again, not a place that's so uptight.
Yeah, I think that Baylor for the longest time before making moves said, well, what about people pushing back, or what about people? Now I think there's a middle ground. I think they went too far under Art Browse in the other direction, where they almost intentionally were looking to piss people off, it felt like at times, and had no problems about the manner in which they might do that. And I do think there is some level of, you have to portray yourself you can't just be no rules, I'm just going to not have anything holding me back. And I do feel like they almost lean too much into the we don't care what you have to say and nothing matters that is said from the outside. And then I think they overcorrected to the point, because they kind of had to, given the situation, where then everything suddenly became, but what is everybody else going to think? And that's probably more towards Baylor's just Southern Baptist original nature to begin with. That's just kind of cooked into the recipe anyways, of being worried about what the person in church says about you, or whatever. I don't give a damn. So to me, this is the perfect amount of petty, and the perfect amount of we're going to double down, and the perfect amount of we're not only having success, we're going to flaunt it a little bit. And guess where the money's going? It's going to go pay players, just like we said. So it's all full circle anyways. And I think this is, according to the website, a limited edition collection, the We Pay Players limited collection, of which a portion of all sales directly support GXG, benefiting the athletes. And it's leaning right into it. So I see nothing wrong with it. I think in this era, things like this are full green light. And I kind of like that they're winking and nodding and kind of smirking at you with it as well, because that's typically not been their style. It's been more of, well, we can't put these out and maybe make a few $1,000s to pay a running back in the future. It'd be, well, what is Twitter going to say? It'd be that kind of reaction. Or there was a regime at one point in time that would be like, we're paying players, and on the back it would say F you on it, and that went too far. And I think this is the happy middle ground to wink, nod, have a laugh, and also benefit from it potentially.
Sam Kahn, David Kay, of course, who's running the GXG within the university, along with what John Passavan and Jeremy Fudge do. Brett McMurphy, front office sports, all this is attention. This is getting a lot of play on the social media, at least on my Twitter timeline, from those who I either follow or I just happen to be watching what they're saying. So, and I'm telling you, when that coach walked up to me as I was walking out the door, he goes, and it was in reference to another school having somebody kind of say, well, I hope the checks cash or whatever, and they say, we're not being bullied. This is me. This is what we're going to do. And it's kind of nice that they've kind of come out of hibernation, and they still have to win because they were 3-9 last year. So that'll look silly if you do that and then you don't win.
Yeah, and if you don't hold on to that recruiting class, and that was a Texas Tech thing. That was their director of player personnel or whatever made a comment about the checks not clearing or cashing, or however it was that he phrased it. Did he delete that? I think maybe he did. I don't know. I didn't go back and follow up on it. But there was a little snipe, and then Keenan Hall responded back to that, and it wasn't like direct comebacks, but if you were following along on both sides, you knew exactly what was happening. And so, I guess at least one person on the tech side of things rubbed the wrong way by it, because when did that comment come? It came after they flipped the Texas Tech commit and linebacker Caleb Burns.
And then they also got the offensive lineman from Vanderbilt at the flip there. Yeah, but that's right. It was.
But it was they flipped the Tech commit. Tech took issue with it to some extent, which I understand that as well. And so it's created a little more of a lightning-charged atmosphere, I think, in recruiting that otherwise we're not talking about if they're not having the success they are. And people aren't sniping if they're not having the success that they are. So, yeah, I think all that's a good sign. But ultimately, what's fun in August doesn't really matter compared to what's fun in, like, December and January. So this recruiting class is great. The we're paying players thing's really fun. But if you don't go win games this year, it's not going to be nearly as cool as it could be when you go sign the actual class that this all stemmed from, and you actually have the wins to maintain your head coach in his position and this staff to go and continue to keep on doing these things. So hopefully this is more of a long-term escalation and not so much a flash in the pan and fun quote from Media Day that gets forgotten because they go 3-9 again.
Absolutely. Okay, Stevenson Sylvester will join us in the next segment. 365 Sports. And oh, by the way, Paul's top 5 around the corner. Craig will be gone all of next week, and he's wanting to leave before 6:15.
And it's about time because he has not showered all week just to make me push him out the door faster.
Yeah. Okay. Are we going to be on the same set together next week?
It appears so. I'm not nuts about it, but it is what it is. It looks stupid if we were over there.
Yeah, we did. You were sitting over here last week, so it's really not anything different whatsoever. And
my God.
I plan on coming back. We'll see. See how that goes. No, I'm kidding. I'll be totally checked out for like a week. Hopefully nothing too crazy happens. Then again, hopefully something crazy does happen. It'll get y'all's week going by a little bit more because we are kind of in that very last little.
There. It's right there.
It's very last little space of like news is starting to slowly trickle, and there's about to be like a flood of it. But we're like 2 weeks away from that point, I think, still about 2 weeks away. So, yeah.
And the Caleb Burns and Kyle Visser brought this up. So he was committed to Tech, flips to Baylor, and then they was at University of Houston practice on their first day. Because, I mean, again, you got to always keep your eye on everything.
Sure.
And kids are going to go take trips to various places, so that'll be fun to still see where he ends up. And Baylor hopes it is with him because he's a hell of a player, and they worked hard to get him to flip. This is 365 Sports. TexasBeefHouse.com. Right outside of Tyler in the Duvall family. Been working on that company, that business, Angus Cattle, for almost a decade. And man, they have really done a great job with what they do. One, they have another online auction. It'll be 2 days next week, August the 7th and 8th. You can go to TexasBeefHouse.com. And then when you do, there's a box that pops up from Bid on Beef. It will give you what they're going to put up for auction next week. And this is a live auction. Just like you see if there's like a live auction for cattle or for cars or whatever it might be. This is for their Angus and their Wagyu beef. Different parts of beef products that you can put a bid on and possibly then buy it. And what I love about what they've done with these online auctions is if, let's say, you want to buy a couple of really nice big fat ribeyes or tomahawk ribeyes or what it might be, steak, etc., flank steak, brisket, you get to buy it at what you want. Now, you might be pushed a little bit because it's a constant online bid. And in the last 2 minutes of the auction, either at the end of the auction, the 2-minute clock keeps starting over again when somebody else bids on what you thought maybe you were going to get. It sounds complicated, but it really is not. So go to TexasBeefHouse.com, 7th and 8th of next week, bid on the pieces of meat you want, and you get to pay for what, like instead of, here's the label on a couple of steaks in the grocery store, you get to pay what you want to pay, what you think the value is, and not being told what it is at TexasBeefHouse.com.
Celebrate American quality and value during the Red, White, and Blue sales tag event at Richard Carr. Drive the best. Get professional-grade power and first-class interior in a GMC Sierra. Qualified buyers save $9,000 on all 2024 GMC Sierra SLT models in stock with qualified trade-in. Military and first responders save an extra $500. Plus, find Red, White, and Blue savings tags on vehicles all over the lot. Drive home American quality and value during our Red, White, and Blue sales tag event at Richard Carr GMC.
Richard Carr. They have the truck for you.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Parenting is full of surprises.
You never know what to expect.
So after our son was born, I called my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent to set up a life insurance policy in case something happened to me.
Sawyer is now 2.
And we'll soon have a sister. There's no one else I would trust with protecting my family.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Baylor alumni are more than 160,000 strong. When we all join hands to support our university, we don't just move the needle, we move mountains. Working together, we create life-changing opportunities for students on the field, in the classroom, in the laboratory, and in life for generations to come. So get connected, get involved. Learn how at baylor.edu/alumni.
Let the journey to financial brilliance begin with Genco's limited time offers. Max your earnings with a Kasasa cash account and get paid monthly with a 4.25 APY. That's $425 annually. Then invest in a 13-month share certificate and earn 4.9 APY. That's $529. Earn cash and outshine the rest. At Genco, we offer you the sun and the moon. Kasasa based on average daily balance of $10,000. Certificate based on $10,000 investment. See GencoFCU.org for details. NCUA.
This is 365 Sports, powered by SicEm365.com.
The 5 o'clock hour is sponsored by Edward Jones Investments with financial advisor Ben Erlinson, who'll navigate you through today's financial climate. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Now here's David Smoke, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoke.
Here we are this 5 o'clock hour on a day when the 4 schools from the Pac-12 became official. We heard from Bill Riley, voice of Utah. Also, Matt McChesney of Colorado, former defensive lineman, and Stevenson Sylvester, former linebacker at Utah, now joins us, and their sideline reporter on 365 Sports. Stevenson, thanks for your time. We had Bill Riley on about a half hour ago, and he gave us a couple of nuggets. I want to start. I know today's the official day for Utah and the Big 12, but tell us about your clothing line that you started.
My brand line is called Utah Man. So, the Utah Man fight song is called Utah Man. A lot of Utah fans really understand what it means to be a Utah Man. And so my clothing line really started with from the Sugar Bowl. There was a pose after we sacked Alabama's quarterback, and kind of incorporated that with the Utah logo, and it's really taken off, man. So it's going to be a big dip. I partnered with Under Armour and the university to get this thing rolling, and it's going to be awesome.
Do you have a website you can throw out there for us?
Yeah, it'll be up later on this month. It's called utahman.co.
Okay.
Not up just yet, but it'll be up later on this month.
All right, I wanted to give a plug to that, and we appreciate it. And thanks for joining us today.
Appreciate it.
There was, it seemed like, when the Pac-12 was kind of unraveling, and even when they did, that there were some fans from Utah that seemed like they were upset about leaving the Pac-12, and rightfully so. They'd done really well in football, had a great tradition in the short amount of time. What do you think today means to Utah overall, the athletic department, now that this is official, even though we've known this now for over a year?
Well, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Where the Pac-12 was thriving. We had 6 teams in the top 25 for the majority of the year, and we were doing amazing things. We were striving every single year, getting better. More and more often we were getting the CFP conversation, and with this extended playoff, there are going to be a potential 3 or 4 Pac-12 teams to make it in there. It was what the Pac-12 was looking like, but conversations happened where I just felt like there was a lot of misunderstanding across the board from a lot of people, from the networks and media standpoint to the conference and universities. And next thing you know, people started bouncing. And, money pays. And so once you get one to fall out, then people were like, okay, let me explore. And then there's other options. And so things just started to fall apart. And luckily, we were able to be a part of a good conference, right? It wasn't guaranteed that we were going to be able to go to a good conference. And, the Big 12 has just had so much history, throughout the years with all of its outstanding accolades and championships over the years. And I think the 4 teams that joined the Big 12 was a huge honor. One, I think Colorado has familiarity, but with Arizona State, and us, I think this is just huge stepping stone for all of our universities. And what I think in the next 8 to 10 years is going to be a major NFL type of landscape where there's going to be a couple conferences going head to head and really fighting for that title every year.
Well, I mean, of course, there's a school you're probably not familiar with, BYU. They're in it too. I can't wait for that one to work out. But as a former player and someone so invested in it, is there a team from the Big 12 that you joined, not one of the ones that came with you, but outside of BYU, because we know that you feel that you are excited about playing a lot, or that fans are maybe circling a little bit?
Well, no, I mean, it's really the entire conference. I think my conversation myself, there's just tons of places I haven't been that I grew up watching and wanted to experience. Going down to Lubbock, Texas, and visiting Texas Tech and getting that atmosphere down there. We grew up on movies like Friday Night Lights and movies like that where Texas is everything. Texas football is everything. I had a conversation a couple years ago with a guy at Media Days that came from that area, and he's like, literally, there is absolutely nothing going on. Everything shuts down. It's football time from high school to college. That's all there. So places like Stillwater, places like Lubbock is places that we all want to experience and get new experiences with. And so I think that's something where Utah fans will travel, and then we will travel well and represent our university in those cities. But those are things that I'm looking forward to experiencing.
So you got to Utah in 2006, the year after Kyle Whittingham's first year as head coach. Just what was that like? Is his vision, and I know he was there prior, but just as his head coaching vision for the program, has that started to take off? I know there's probably some rocky spots at the beginning, but what was it like to play for him and just to be a part of that era of Utah football?
Well, I mean, we benefited because Coach Whittingham had already been coaching for almost 20 years at that point. 20 plus years at that point. And so he probably had his whole playbook. And remember the water boy, he had his little playbook on him all day. He knew exactly what he wanted to do, but how to implement it and how to do it. I think that was a rough start for him. I was his first recruiting class. I know he took over in 2005, but the first class that he was in charge of recruiting, I was one of those guys. So I've always felt honored that I was one of his first is what I would say. And I just know that, he had some growing pains when we first started from, just understanding how much input he had to have. Even with my days with the Steelers, the good years and bad years was like, okay, how much do I let the players handle? How much do I let the coaches handle? How much input do I get? Where do I sit as the head coach? And I think that took some years to figure out. And then 2008, we went undefeated. And I think that's where he really got his groove as far as understanding, okay, if I want to have championship level teams, if I want to have good teams, good leadership teams, good men after the fact, this is where I have to stand. So it took him a couple of years to get that out, but he's a fast learner, and he's one who wants success all the time. So he was willing to adjust, and I think any good coach that's willing to adjust and kind of change with the times, I think we'll always have success.
He seems to be someone that is tough as nails, or doesn't seem to be. He is as tough as nails. He knows what he expects from the player, but then also, does he have just enough of a soft side, Stevenson, that you kind of feel like he has your back?
Oh, man, yeah. One thing, it's his humor. He has a really unique humor. Because I remember, I think it was 2008 or 2009, he kind of had to take over the linebacker room for a little bit. And he had some meetings, but he would say some of the funniest stuff and really, bring some light into the room. And that's where we were just like, okay, we could joke around with Coach Witt. He's good. He's human. He's not a machine. But I think his humor and his ability to relate to the players, he can bring in some new jokes and bring in some old jokes. But one thing is, like, you just understand that he wants to win. And he loves to be a part of success. And one of the greatest things is that as a player, he cares about you. Even to this day, he can remember the time where he went and recruited me in Las Vegas. I think it was just last year where I asked him about it. And he remembered coming to my classroom back in 2005 to recruit me. And the conversations we had back in the day, and he knows my family, knows my mom, knows my little brother, knows my sister. He knows those little things. And as a player, that's what you want to know is, does somebody care about me? It's the little things. And I think Coach Whittingham really embraces that and understands that. And it's one part of his personality, so it's easy to him. But I think that was one of the biggest things to get a lot of his players to buy in over the years.
You are on the Big 12 Advisory Council. What do you advise them on? What does that role entail?
Man, it's a tremendous honor. First off, the names on that list. I didn't even think that I would be a part of something like that, but to know that I am truly honored. But it's mostly the voice of the athletes, right? So I will be really close to the athletes here at the University of Utah of all sports and speaking on their behalf on what they need, what they want, and a voice from a former athlete. What was it like when I was a player, and what do I need to experience? And that's what I really appreciate about the Big 12 is they want to make sure that the experience is awesome. They want to make sure that the universities, even the new universities, have the best experience with the Big 12. And I think that's just a step in the right direction in getting a voice for the players. So I'm almost like an athlete liaison voice to be able to articulate that in the mass form. And then we all come from all the universities come together and we make decisions. And so it's kind of just on decisions on what in the best interest of the conference is for these athletes and coaches and universities. And so I just feel tremendously honored to even be a part of those conversations. And it's going to be a fun road ahead.
Yeah, that was a really cool idea by your marketing company, and you're right. It's a very, very cool list. If you run into RG3 before we get to talk to him again, tell him we said hello, Sylvester. We'd appreciate that. But
I got you.
For folks who travel out to Salt Lake for a game at Rice-Eccles Stadium, what can they expect?
Man, well, Utah people are amazing. I'm telling you, we recruited. We're from all over the country, Florida, Texas. I'm from Las Vegas, California. And when you meet Utah people, they are genuinely amazing people, nice. And you're just going to get a great atmosphere here in the city, especially the landscape. I think more people will be in awe of what the visuals look like. We're right up against, the Rocky Mountains. And I just think that there's an echo too, how loud the stadium is, and the mountains are right there, so it just comes back in. But aside from the weather, it's just a tremendous atmosphere. The additions that we've made to our stadium are top tier, and I just think everybody's going to have a tremendous experience. Tailgating is awesome. You go around, everybody's just nice. It's a good competitive atmosphere. Don't get it wrong. Utah people talk smack, but it's all in good fun, good in competition. And so I think anybody who comes, you're going to have an amazing time when you come here. Beautiful scenery, beautiful people, and you're just going to have an amazing time at a football game.
So what are your expectations with what appears to be the favorite with Kansas State? And there's 2 to 3 other schools, programs that right there at the top about how you rank the Big 12. Where would you put Utah? What are your expectations? What would be considered a successful season?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, right? I'm a realist. Yes, I'm a homer. I love my youth. I could talk all day about them, but if I don't think my youths are good enough, I will let you know. But with the way our schedule is lined out, with who we play, when we play them, the time of years that we play them, the bye weeks that we have, our schedule aligns for success for us, along with our personnel, right? I think it starts at the top, right? Any programs needs to have a good leadership, and that's, our coaching staff and administration. We have an intact coaching staff and administration that has worked together for years, played together, right? And I think that it's just an amazing start at that point, and then it trickles down into the leaders of the team. Everybody knows you need a quarterback. You guys know for sure RG3 was the reason you guys had a lot of success. Without him there, those couple of years, I don't know if you would have had that success. So we have Cam Rising at the helm. He's like a 12th year quarterback. He knows the system, extremely comfortable. Had a year to heal up, is feeling 100%. I watched him during the pro day, and it was more of a workout for him than the outgoing seniors. It was crazy. So he's extremely confident, extremely accurate, and the biggest thing, he's a playmaker. And so he has a favorite target. He loves Brent Keithy, but he can spread the ball around. He wants to win as well. And I think it all starts with him. Once him, and then it'll trickle down into the defense, into special teams. And, everybody's playing for one another. So I absolutely love what Utah has coming into each game. But the biggest reason why I think Utah is rated number one coming into the season is because of the way the schedule lines out. We have some great warm-up games. It sucks that Baylor is not a conference game. It's actually an exhibition game this year. But we have them at home. And, the Utah atmosphere, I think we have 12 straight years of sellout crowds. But I think we've only lost like 5 games in the last 10 years at home. I don't know that statistic thoroughly, but we win at home, and that's huge. And I think majority of the games that we have that are important are all at home this year. The only game that's going to be huge trouble that we don't know that on the road is in Stillwater at Oklahoma State. So I just think that the way the schedule is lined up for us this year, Southern Utah, Baylor, Utah State, Oklahoma State, Arizona, and then a bye week, I just think that just bodes well for our success to where we can finish the season strong and ready and healthy entering the Big 12 championship and college football playoffs.
So you play with the Steelers, and we know their mentality, and teams that have that mentality. Is that the franchise? And there's others that have that grit, but was that the perfect place for you to go based on what the personality is or the identity is of Utah to go play for Pittsburgh?
Yeah, man, I don't think a lot of people understand. It was so funny when I first got to the Steelers. Steelers defense is not easy to understand. They are one of the most cerebral defenses in how you have to operate from. It's almost like an offense the way the defense was. But what the defense we did and how we did it, Kalani Sitake was my coach at Utah, Gary Anderson, and this was Coach Whittingham's system. It's what he's coached as a defense coordinator before he became the head coach. But learning their system, learning the techniques, learning the verbiage was the exact same thing as I headed into the Steelers. And that's why I was able to have success my rookie year and go all the way to the Super Bowl with the Steelers, was because I knew a lot of the things already at Utah. So, yes, that mentality that Coach Whittingham has is the same mentality as the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin over there. So it was a very easy transition for me to the NFL because of what I learned at Utah. So Utah does it the right way. A lot of Big 12 teams are going to understand and know that Utah plays tough defense first because we have a defensive-minded head coach. And if we don't have good defense, we don't have anything. So being one of the leaders on the Utah defense for all those years, it just boded well for me in the NFL.
All right, so here we are. This is the official day with Arizona, Colorado, Arizona State, and Utah. So much has changed in college athletics, and as we brought up a part of the Big 12 Advisory Council, can you fathom really all that has changed as a former player that was not available to you when you played?
No, man, I didn't. I didn't even realize, this was only something that I felt like only 10 schools out of the country could actually do. You know, I come from little Las Vegas, not a big football city, and able to go to the University of Utah. They had just won the Fiesta Bowl a couple years, so I thought that was a luxury. But just understanding where Utah came from to the point to where we couldn't even get a cracker from the staff, or that was some kind of violation. So now these guys are getting lobsters and fillets and all kinds of different meals and NIL monies and all this other stuff. There's just so many things that has transpired over the years, but it's the growth of the game, right? You got to think like everything, you want everything to evolve. Just like for your kids, you want your kids to have it better than you had it when you were their age. And that's the same thing that a lot of us alumni want. We want our university to have it better than we had it. And what we can side with as a benefit for us is that we contributed to that, right? We contributed to that progression, to that evolution of University of Utah and everything that has came through the day, and to be a part of, the Big 12. Big 12 was huge for me growing up. Some of the best schools as Texas, Oklahoma, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, Kansas back in the day. This was just an amazing conference, and to know that we're a part of it now is something that a lot of people didn't anticipate. But, every single year, anything that happens, we're rolling with the punches, and we're just excited to be here.
Stevenson, thanks for your time. We do appreciate you. And look forward to having you on a couple of different times, maybe the week before Baylor in Utah in early September. Thanks for your time, and welcome to the Big 12, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Smokey. You got my number. Hit me up.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And so tried to bring you a little bit of that flavor of at least two of the schools, Utah coming into the Big 12 in Colorado today, of course, Arizona. I thought that today – and I know we have the top five around the corner, but I thought today, if we were to do, like, this is your top five's already done, but if you would have done a top five today of those people who should be, like, commended for today being the official day of those four joining the Big 12.
Let's see. It would be Brett Yormark, obviously. George Kliavkoff for being so incompetent.
I think Jason Scheer for taking a beating from everybody else around that area.
Yeah.
I talked to him a little bit today. He's going to come on next week.
Rick George at Colorado for being the one who
pulled the trigger.
But also very demonstrably last year when George Kliavkoff was like, "Hey, listen, the longer we wait." Yeah, believe me.
No, man, when they bailed at PAC Media Days, that was the
like when
sign.
he said that,
they
when he said
disappeared.
that, and he was like, you know what? No, we're out the door, because he'd already had the meeting with the ADs and presidents before he went out there, and then went out there and said all that stuff. And Rick George was the one who's like, you know what? I listened to this BS just a minute ago. I'm not going to let you walk out and say it again, and me just sit here and be like, yeah, that's the party line. We're going to do that. I think Rick George for making it public.
I wish we could play that video of the highlights of George Kliavkoff. And again, that guy's...
I think we can. I mean, I can go...
I know what John Wilner said. He said today that the way that the Pac-12 folded, they ended up having to pay two commissioners $60 million.
Yeah.
$60 million is what they ended up paying, along with Kliavkoff as well. Is there somebody else we're missing from the Mount Rushmore?
ACC, I'll come break up your conference for 10.
Yeah.
Well, Mount Rushmore only has four faces, so I think we've already named
we
four.
did it then.
Yeah.
Okay. Rick George.
Jason Scheer.
Brett Yormark and George Kliavkoff.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as leading us here, I mean, being responsible. I mean, Jason's not really responsible, but yes, I get where you're coming from.
But kind of a player in the whole story. Yeah.
Well, he when everybody was shouting us down or shouting anybody else down as far as like there's nothing to this, and then started going so far as to like label people with really just mean-spirited names, and a lot of the name calling and stuff that went on back then, like. Everybody in the Big 12 who believed that there was a chance this could happen were basically called like cult members, like we're just redneck, white trash, truck stop, MAGA, like that was the feel of some of the rhetoric coming out of the Pac-12 side of things. And that really turned it to me from being kind of just a fun sports thing to like personal. And I think that's where a lot of Big 12 fans come from now, or did originally. It was like, all right, this was a thing that we were just all kind of talking about and it would be cool if it happened. And now you've like made it a personal issue. So yeah, now we want to see your conference die, pal. And that's what I think turned it up to like a 10, And then, the whole time of nothing's happening. It's clear like, no, there's a TV contract that has to be agreed to. Like, you can say whatever you want to about the Florida State stuff. Like, we can't control the legal battle that's ongoing. It could end tomorrow because they come to some type of negotiation, agreement, or it could be 2 years from now because the courts finally settle this thing. I don't know. Like, we have no idea. But with the Pac-12, it was very clear of like, you guys have a TV contract that runs out after this season. You have not signed the new one. You don't even appear to be close to signing a new one. And if you don't sign this, you could lose some teams. That was all that was ever really said from the very beginning. It was like, this is all BS. There's nothing to it. They would never join you, all these various things. So, yeah, Jason was somebody that cut through all that and was from the Pac-12 side of things that was really one of the first guys to go like, oh, no, there's something to it. And no, there is something to the whole TV deal not being what George Kliavkoff's making it to sound like, or Robert Robbins is making it sound like, or Schultz at Washington. I mean, remember how loud he was about, everything's great. And so Jason was one of the first ones from that side of the fence that goes like, oh, no, there's actually legs to it. And then he backed it up over and over again to the point of like where he was proven right ultimately. And Arizona was quickly out the door once things fell a certain way. So, yeah, for that, I think he belongs up there with because he helped change the narrative.
Right.
And kind of the way it was being portrayed. Because I think that before he did that, the name calling, especially for some national people, like caught on more than there's actually something to this. I feel like everybody's, no. This is all just crazy talk, crazy Big 12 fans. And obviously that wasn't the case. So, yeah, I think Jason deserves a nod for that. And there's many other people along the way. But here we are, and it's a year later, and there's no speculation. Colorado and Arizona State and Utah are members of the Big 12 officially, and I know there's the other moves around the nation as well that are all hugely impactful too. But, yeah, what a day, and congrats to all the fans who are excited about it, and even those who aren't. Hopefully you are excited very soon because I think it's going to be a hell of a ride, and I don't know how long it'll last, but hopefully we can have fun for however long that is, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, or whatever this conference ends up looking like in the future. But I'm excited about it.
I mean, Kyle Whittingham told us when I had him on last year, and also even at, there's more changes coming. We know that, but enjoy what you have. Matt Brown, our good friend from Extra Points on the Baylor football coaches, we pay players, kind of want to buy this to where for the next time I speak at some serious professional future of college athletics think tank.
Yeah. I mean, hey, they're leaning into it, like I said earlier. And, for anybody who's kind of, aghast at that idea, especially older heads, and I'll include myself in that, who could never imagine seeing the environment that we're in right now. I like that they're having fun with it. And guess what? We would not be talking about them if not for the whole posting of the T-shirt to begin with. So they've gone viral again by leaning into what was taboo 2 years ago. And they're probably going to make some money to go pay some more players off of it because I've already seen several people who are going and buying those shirts already. So if Matt Brown, who has no connection whatsoever, is like, this is funny, I might buy this, then I'm sure there will be other people that are like that as well. And I'm sure Baylor will appreciate your contribution to that 4-star wide receiver they hope to land in the near future, because that's the whole full circle of this entire quote and what it's all turned into over the last month.
It is. And Max Olson, what a time to be alive. No doubt. Paul Catalina at his top 5 is next.
Make this the summer event at Allen Samuels. Drive the all-new 2024 Grand Cherokee 4XE or Wrangler 4XE today. Lease payments start at just $589 a month or finance for 2.9% for 84 months. Experience legendary Jeep performance with cutting-edge hybrid technology. Hurry, only at Allen Samuels in Waco. See dealer for details.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Ideal
MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs. Even offering financing if that's needed, everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
TFNB Your Bank for Life is the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texas are making TFNB their bank for life. Sign up for our Edge checking and savings accounts to earn interest or cash back. With 5 convenient locations and an award-winning mobile app, banking has never been easier. TFNB Your Bank for Life. Member FDIC.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
Pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
It's time for Paul Catalina's Top 5, brought to you by Texas Beef House. Where's the best beef in Texas? Your house when you order from Texas Beef House. Unleash the flavor of Texas-raised Wagyu. From our pasture to your plate, TexasBeefHouse.com.
Welcome back. Paul Catalina's Top 5 brought to you by Texas Beef House. Use our promo code 365sports, 10% off of your order. Let's finish off the preseason top 25 near misses, shall we? 5-1 today. If you haven't seen the other one, it's available, of course, on the YouTube page. But you know how to work the YouTube page. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So let's get into it. Number 5, Boise State, another G5 team. Number 6 was Air Force. This is a G5 team that with Malachi Nelson, who was one of the highest recruited quarterbacks in the country just a couple years ago, has transferred from USC to there. The Blue Turf should be a tough place to play, and this is a team that could be the G5 team that is in the playoff. They closed out the year really strong last year and added Malachi Nelson. Yes, they did lose Taylon Green to Arkansas, but I think it's a pretty fair one-for-one trade, and we'll see if Malachi Nelson is the guy and is the guy that we think that he can be. Number 4, Washington. They were in the national championship game last year. They lost a ton of starters, and I know that this is not like an official Washington thing, but look at these guys. Look at them. Look at them. Don't you just want to wrestle with them? Look at them. Look at those guys. They're great. They're good little guys. Like, this was my favorite right here. He's confused. Anyhow, and it's confusing to peg who the Huskies are going to be this year because they have so many new starters and a new head coach and a whole new coaching staff. But I just can't put a team from national championship game to completely out of the top 25 or even close to it in my mind. I just have faith that they're going to be a pretty good team all year long, just not Michael Penix, Jalen Polk, Roma Dunze good. But they'll be good. They'll be a good team. It'll be a tough team to play in the new conference in the Big Ten, but probably not a season that Washington fans are going to look back and say, oh, that one was one of the ones that we love. Number 3, Virginia Tech. Kyron Drones, year 2 as the starter there. Really closed out the year well. He's confident enough to talk trash about the top team in the conference, which even though I disagree with him, I like it, the fact that he's doing that. The Hokies fans are starved for a good team. It looks like they're on the way up. And the ACC, after the top couple is wide open in the middle, there's a lot of things that could happen with the ACC. And Virginia Tech, because they have one of the more dynamic quarterbacks in Kyron Drones, could be one of those teams that makes waves. Number 2, Wisconsin. I like every position that Wisconsin has talent-wise except for quarterback. And if they were more steady at quarterback, and if Tyler Van Dyke plays well, this is a team that could certainly be in the top 25. And Luke Fickell is one of America's best coaches. So I'm not going to question him getting this team back to being regularly in the top 25, but I got to see it first. But I do think that they're going to be really, really improved. And again, close out the year with a bowl win last year. So Wisconsin, a team to keep your eye on. And finally, the number 1 team right out of it. You're waiting for it, Morgantown. West Virginia. Garrett Green, C.J. Donaldson. Everything that they've got on defense. An offensive line that's really salty. Just got to see them get those wins early and keep the momentum from the 9-4 season last year. And I think West Virginia will be fine. I think they're going to attend most of the year in the Big 12, if not all of it. Should be a fun year in Morgantown, but they would have been my 26th ranked team for sure. I even debated putting them in. I just, it was them or Oklahoma State, them or Oklahoma State, them or Oklahoma State. And I went with Oklahoma State. But I think West Virginia, a team that's very deserving and should get a lot of preseason looks. And that Penn State game is going to tell us a lot about both those teams early on. That's going to do it. Wrapping it up to say goodbye right after this.
Text you send to Patterson that you got to know him. All right, here we go. 365 Sports. I just had somebody that got to know Gary Patterson when he was in Waco. And wished him well, said he hates that he's leaving and felt like he was going to bring something to the table. So that was one of the stories that popped today during our show, that he's no longer a part of the Baylor. I don't even know if he was ever under contract. And he wasn't really, and I think this is why when Aranda reacted the way he did at the Big 12 media days when we talked about him, is I don't even know if he was really an analyst, more of a consultant for Baylor. And I don't know, but all that.
I mean, good luck to him, I guess. I hope we don't hear about him being at like West Virginia in a week from now and helping them, prepare for their season or whatever. But even if he does, then so be it. It always felt like an odd fit just because of the history, but then kind of made sense because history's gone out the window in college football here lately. And plus, coaches, I mean, they hop around to rivals like it's going out of style, although this one for people in this area was like, it's like going from Ohio State to Michigan. But guess what? Plenty of coaches have gone from Ohio State to Michigan and vice versa. Just weird that we didn't even get to see it last into a season, though. So it made for, I guess, a couple of fun moments during the offseason, but ultimately didn't amount to much else than a couple of stories written and a couple of interesting conversations. And we'll see what it turns into on the field for Baylor as far as what he helped them do and if that has any impact on them being better this year. But, yeah, it's not the dream scenario for those who are hoping that, he was going to come in and be like a unofficial defensive coordinator of sorts or, even the guy next in line for some people, which I never bought into that. I never thought that was the case. But regardless, it's definitely not the case now. So, yeah, good luck to him, and, we'll see what happens.
All right, we won't see Craig next week. He's on his way out to get the heck away and decompress and chill. He'll be gone all of next week. And if Paul's lucky, I'll be here for just a few days myself next week. Garrett Ross, thank you very much. Emery Winters dialing up 365 Sports tonight on the CW. Thanks to all of our amazing sponsors and you, the audience, viewers, and or those who may even listen to us on Sikkim 365 app. You can watch it on that too. Plus, remember the Twitter feed at 365 Sports YT with those of you who watch that. For Paul Catalina and Craig, enjoy your vacation. Craig Smoke, I'm David Smoke. Thank you for your time. Have a great weekend. This is 365 Sports.